Hello, everybody. So today, last week we talked a lot about the power of the Holy Spirit and how it works in our lives. So today we want to build off that and talk about what it means to be in the will of God and be led by the Spirit every day. A trap that a lot of great, well-meaning Christian people that love God and everything, a trap that they fall into is waiting to find out what the will of God is for their lives. Now, of course, you're like, wait, what? Why did she just say that? Because you're supposed to find out what the will of God is for your life. Yes, that's true, but too often it's easy to use waiting for the will of God as an excuse to sit around and not do anything for God. And, don't use that as an excuse to be inactive. There are people that just sit around and they're waiting for God to give them this big 5-year ministry plan, and it doesn't work that way. God's not going to give you a sign or specific instructions. I mean, He might, but more likely than not, it's not going to be some long list of instructions day by day of what you're supposed to do with your life. No, these people that fall into this trap end up waiting their whole lives. They're 30 and they still don't know what the will of God is for life. They're 40 and they still don't know. So they have to just sit on a pew their entire life as a Christian. And that's a terrible waste. We don't want that to happen to anybody. So don't just sit there and wait for God to show you exactly what you're going to do for the next 5 years. Start doing stuff now. Most people are not called into full-time ministry. Most believers are not going to be a person that preaches to thousands in a stadium. Most believers may not even be somebody that ever gets on a stage. And, it's easy for us, and especially in the big church world, to think that serving God means being in some kind of ministry on the stage. You have to be a singer or a preacher, and that's the only ministry there is. No, that's not it. Sorry. You may feel like since you aren't called to preach, or that you're not a singer, or you're not a missionary, that, I can just sit around and go to church. No, there's more than that. There's, instead of sitting back and waiting for the will of God, or waiting for God to call you to some kind of big ministry, why don't you try this? Today, when you pray, ask God, Father, I want to walk in the will that you have for my life. I want to be led by the Spirit today. I want you to show me today, right now, what I need to do, and then try to stay sensitive to His leading for the rest of the day.
It may be as simple as sending an encouraging card to a friend, buying somebody's lunch, or praying for the lady that's in front of you in Walmart that is limping. No matter how small it may seem, if everyone was obedient daily, our community would be radically changed. We are called to be the light of the world, not the light of the church building on Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. We encourage you all today to take time and ask the Holy Spirit to show you today what you can do for the kingdom. After all, God doesn't want a group of radical stadium preachers. He just wants a group of people who are obedient to Him daily. As always, there's the scriptures at the end of the blog. Check those out, and we will see you tomorrow.